Hi, welcome to the Waste to Energy webinar held by EU SME. Today's topic is entry into China's waste to energy market. I'm David Wang from China-Britain Business Council, abbreviated as CBBC. The EU SME Centre is an EU Commission-funded project which helps EU SMEs prepare to do business in China by providing them with a range of information, advice, training, and support services. The center is implemented by a consortium of 6 partners and was established in October 2010. It successfully completed its first phase in July 2014 and has now entered its second phase, which will run until July 2018. About CBBC, the China-Britain Business Council helps British and Chinese business and organizations work together in China with over 60 years of experience and experts in 11 UK offices and 15 Chinese locations. We have some major services such as Business Support Service, abbreviated as BSS. For BSS service, we help to identify local contacts, including agents, distributors, suppliers, and potential partners. We also arrange events and meetings, including one-to-one meeting programs, workshops, seminars, and product launches. In addition, we conduct market research, including sector and regulatory overviews and market analysis. Another major service of CBBC is event management service. We do event planning and implementation, budget management and supplier coordination, and on-site management logistics support. The third kind of service is launchpad service. CBBC provides a flexible, fast, cost-effective, and low-risk means to explore the opportunities across China working from CBBC offices. CBBC will employ a project manager dedicated to helping to take business forward in China. For myself, I'm a senior project manager at CBBC, focusing on the EI sector, which is energy, environment, and infrastructure. I have 10 years of work experience of market research and consultancy for both Chinese and international companies in the fields such as building services, oil, gas, and renewable energy. I have been helping international companies identifying opportunities and build business in China, and also for Chinese companies to go abroad. I hold a Master of Arts degree from China Foreign Affairs University. Our webinar today will be outlined into sections. First, the market overview section to give you a basic idea of China's macroeconomy and the waste-to-energy market. Secondly, the market status trends, introducing the total open waste generation volume and the treatment segmentation in the past and future years. Thirdly, the regulatory framework and financial incentives, presenting the laws and the regulations at different levels in the country, and the financial subsidies, tax exemption, and special funds. Fourthly, the waste-to-energy projects from the angle of technologies applied, major project cases, EPC models, and main players in the market. We give details of important projects in terms of locations, technologies, treatment capacity, electricity output, and players are investors, contractors, and operators. Fifthly, the opportunities, challenges, and recommendations sector, trying to show some of our observations and give help to SMEs. And finally, the annex sector lists some trade shows that you might be interested to go and explore. First, let us see the picture of China's waste-to-energy market. After 40 years of continuous development at high speed, China becomes the second largest economy in the world. Currently, China has entered a period of so-called new normal, which means more sustainable mid to high speed growth with higher efficiency and lower costs. The Chinese economy is expected to grow 7 to 8% or less annually in the years ahead from the past growth rate of 10% in the previous decades. The Chinese economy structure will see comprehensive and fundamental upgrading in the future. Services and consumption industry will be the main source of the economic growth. Innovation, rather than production investment, is going to play the role of economic engine. The gap of people's income between urban areas and rural areas, and between Midwestern regions and Eastern region, will continue to be evened. On the other hand, sustainable development and environment protection has never been so attached with importance in the country. China is rapidly become aware of the long-term pernicious effect and social costs of environmental pollution, and the government is ambitious, it's building an environment-friendly country. With the new normal phase in mind, the government has been making plans to guide the country and reallocate resources among various industries. In terms of waste-to-energy sector, according to the 13th National 5-Year Plan, which is made to guide the whole country's development from 2016 to 2020, China shall be able to treat 403.3 million tons of urban waste per annum by 2020, which is 45.7% higher than in 2015. Among the methods of waste treatment in China, the country treated 80 million tons of urban waste through waste-to-energy facilities and generated 25 billion kilowatt-hour electricity in 2015. China's waste-to-energy projects are largely being developed and controlled by the government entities, and state-owned enterprises. They can play the role of investors, contractors, and operators of an entire waste-to-energy project. BOT, which is build, operation, and transfer, and BOO, which is build, operation, and ownership, are currently the main energy performance certificate models for waste-to-energy projects in China. China has a total population of 1.37 billion. Over 56 of the population lives in urban areas, and they generated around 300 million tons of urban waste in 2015. It is believed that the number will keep growing as the Chinese people are becoming more and more wealthy, and the urbanization of Chinese central and western China become more and more rapid. As to urban waste composition, China's urban waste is featured with a mixture of wet kitchen residues and low caloric value. Although the country has been seeking ways to encourage people to segregate their waste into different rubbish bins, it is slow and hard to change people's behavior and habits. And now, most urban waste are mixed together before it is treated. The government is in charge of the collection and the transportation of rubbish to the treatment facilities. However, the ownership of urban waste has been vague in China, and a large amount of valuable waste such as metals, bottles, and cartons has been picked up from the rubbish bins and sold to the waste agents. Besides domestic waste, China also generated 3.27 billion tons of ordinary industrial solid waste generated from the sectors of manufacturing, transportation, textile, etc. Each year, China also produced 39.8 million tons of hazardous industrial solid waste and 1.8 million tons of medical waste, mainly from hospitals. As to urban waste treatment in 2015, China was able to treat 276.8 million tons per annum, and is forecast to be 403.3 million tons by 2020, as stated in the 13th five-year plan of the country. Current main methods for urban waste treatment in China are sanitary landfill, incineration, and compost. In 2015, 66.1% of the urban waste was treated by landfill, 31% by incineration, and 2.8% by compost. Although landfill has taken the most part of the urban waste, it has been acknowledged in the country that landfill occupies large area of precious land, which can be very expensive in China. And when the landfill place hit the capacity limits, new places is needed to contain upcoming waste. Landfill also leads to problems such as bad smell and liquid leakage. Until 2015, there are about 1,800 sanitary landfill sites across China. Some will be built in Middle and West China, and some will be closed due to the capacity limits. Therefore, the government decided to change the treatment pattern. According to the government plan, the incineration rate is to increase 53.5% by 2020 at national level, which will drive the waste-to-energy market to rapidly grow in China. At the provincial level, developed regions make even higher targets. The government of Zhejiang province in January 2017 states that from the next 5 years, Zhejiang will newly build a capacity of 8.4 million tons per annum for urban waste treatment, so as to make the province able to treat 27.7 million tons per annum in total, 65 of which will be treated through incineration. Besides the 5-year plan we just mentioned, the government also make laws and regulations and financial incentives to regulate and drive the waste-to-energy industry in China. From the national level government, for example, the Law of the People's Republic of China on the prevention and control of environmental pollution by solid waste sets the principle for both industrial and urban solid waste prevention and control in China. The Renewable Energy Law of the People's Republic of China encourages the development of waste energy and facilitates the combined heat and power projects to connect the municipal electricity and heating grid. The implementation plan of urban waste classification system aims to set up the replicable model of urban waste classification around China. It also requires a list of cities to implement mandatory classification for urban waste, and 35% of the urban waste there would be able to be recycled. Moreover, at provincial level, China has 23 provinces, 4 municipalities directly under the central government, 2 special administrative regions. One is Hong Kong, the other is Macau, and 5 autonomous regions. Provincial governments in China have also passed regulations on urban waste to specify or supplement the national level ones within their regions on waste cleaning, collection, transportation, and treatment. The regulations clarify the entities responsible for the waste in each area. charges on waste production and punitive methods are regulated in the clauses. An example is the regulation on the treatment of urban and rural domestic waste in Guangdong province, issued in 2015. It's the first provincial law that requires setting up domestic waste classification system of rural areas as well as urban areas. In addition, municipal government also makes city-level regulations. Take Nanjing as an example. It is the capital city of Jiangsu province in East China, very close to Shanghai city. Expected to have a population of 11 million and annual waste generation of 3.6 million tons. The municipal government made laws and regulations such as administrative and punitive measures for environmental protection by Nanjing Environmental Protection Bureau, administrative measures for domestic waste classification in Nanjing, implementation plan for Nanjing to build a national municipal solid waste classification model city, regulations on prevention and control of solid waste environmental pollution in Nanjing, administrative measures of domestic waste disposal in Nanjing. All these city-level laws and regulations work together with provincial and national ones. Whenever there are any conflicts among them, upper-level ones will prevail against the lower-level laws and regulations. Besides the laws and regulations, the Chinese government also grants various financial incentives to support the waste-to-energy projects, including National Development and Reform Commission issued the subsidiary policy for waste-to-energy, which benefits from a regulated feed-in tariff at 0.65 RMB per kilowatt hour, whereas coal electricity is around 0.4 RMB per kilowatt hour. Laws of the People's Republic of China on enterprise income tax stipulates that public waste treatment company can be exempted from income tax for the first 3 years up to the date of becoming profitable, and can be only charged with half of the normal tax for the second 3 years. The normal income tax rate for enterprises in China is 25% on the payable profit. The government at various levels also sets up special funds to support the recycling economy and renewable energy. Qualified projects can be granted with physical subsidy on the basis of the fund conditions. Okay, now let's talk about waste-to-energy projects. We'll introduce technologies, cases, models, and players. First, the technologies applied in China. Now, the incineration technology is widely used in China's waste-to-energy project, whereas gasification and pyrolysis and anaerobic digestion are much less applied. Incineration technology has a proven capability to work with mixed complex wastes, and it's used to generate heat and electricity as well. Both gasification and pyrolysis and anaerobic digestion require upfront segregation of waste in order to have well-defined wastes. Anaerobic digestion can produce valuable byproducts such as fertilizers and soil conditioners. However, it requires of stable and homogeneous feedstocks and or investment in upfront waste segregation equipment. As to cases of waste-to-energy projects, we collected 3 mega projects information. They are Lujiashan plants in Beijing, Laogang Phase 1 and Phase 2 in Shanghai. All of these 3 waste-to-energy plants use incineration technology. Lujiashan plant in Beijing is able to treat 1 million tons of urban waste per annum, which is 1/8 of the city's waste generation. The Beijing municipal government and the Beijing Capital Steel Biomass Energy Technology Corporation Limited, which is also the EPC contractor and the operator of the project, jointly invested 280.5 million euros and completed the project in 2013. The project is located at the west suburb in Beijing, generating 300 million kilowatt-hour electricity each year. Similar to Lujiashan, the Shanghai Laogang Phase 1 plant was invested by Shanghai Municipal Investment Group, constructed by Shanghai Construction Group and operated by Shanghai Environment Group. The Shanghai Environment Group actually is the subsidiary of the project investor. The Lujiashan Phase 1 was also completed in 2013 with an investment of 190.9 million euros, capable of treating 1 million tons of urban waste and generating 300 million kilowatt-hour electricity each year. The Laogang Phase 2 will be completed in 2018 with double capacity compared with Phase 1. But also the investment will be around 2.5 times of the previous one. The owner, EPC contractor, and the operator of Phase 2 are the same with Phase 1. Shanghai and Beijing are both mega cities in China with tens of millions of people living there. According to the statistics provided by China Environmental Protection Ministry, both cities generated around 8 million tons of urban waste in 2016. As we just introduced, gasification and pyrolysis and anaerobic digestion technologies are seldomly applied in China, but there are still some smaller projects have already been built or are going to be built in China. An example of anaerobic digestion was built in Qingdao City. Shandong province. The plant was completed in 2013 with a total investment of 21 million euros, partly from international capital and government fund. It can treat 21.9 thousand tons per annum of urban waste and generate 26 million cubic meters of gas, 53 million kilowatt-hour electricity, and 27,000 tons of organic fertilizer. Besides anaerobic digestion technology, the Qingdao plant also launched a gasification and pyrolysis project in 2013 with an investment estimation of 15.6 million euros. It is designed to treat 64.8 thousand tons of solid urban waste and generate 65.7 million kilowatt-hour electricity each year. Business models of waste-to-energy projects in China are mainly BOT, build, operation and transfer, and BOO, build, operation and ownership. An operation license usually lasts for 25 to 30 years in China. For BOT model, the operation company will transfer the ownership to the investor, whereas in BOO model, the operation company can extend the license to another period. Cash flow for the operator is mainly from selling the electricity and heat, and the government subsidized waste treatment fee. Recyclates can also have considerable value in China, such as glass from bottles, metal from electronic products, paper from cartons. The government selects waste-to-energy contractors through either the process of bidding or the process of negotiation. In the process of bidding, the government will invite bidders through public channels such as newspapers and websites to introduce their project information and the requirement on bidders' accreditations and qualifications. The government will sign a long-term contract with the bidder winner for waste-to-energy project. In negotiation process, usually the government will negotiate with those who have close and long-term partnership with them and make deals on the conditions of the waste-to-energy project. There is usually a sole waste treatment company which is allowed to operate in a specific area. It therefore creates a very good, natural, and stable monopoly position for the project winner in terms of waste feedstock and subsidy. As waste-to-energy projects provide large-scale public utility service, they often require large investment. There are three types of EPC players in China: the state-owned enterprises, private companies, and the international companies. The state-owned EPCs include Everbright International, China Energy Conservation and Environment Protection Group, Beijing Enterprise, and the Shanghai Environment Group. Private EPCs include Tasound Environment, Anhui Shenyun, Zhejiang Weiming, and Hangzhou Jinjiang. International EPCs include Veolia and the Golden State Environment Protection Group. In terms of core incineration technology, although Chinese technology is rapidly developing, a substantial amount of the currently installed boilers are imported, mainly from Japanese and German suppliers. International companies, compared with the local companies, have mature technology and management, but their cost of construction and operation are comparatively higher. Chinese SOEs can be financed and supported from the government. They are more easily financed than the private companies, which in turn, however, are more flexible and more efficient than the state-owned enterprises. Among the above-mentioned Chinese EPC contractors, Everbright International, Beijing Enterprise are listed in Hong Kong stock exchanges. Shanghai Environment Group and Zhejiang Weimin is listed in Shanghai stock exchanges. Tencent Environment and Anhui Shenyun are listed in Shenzhen stock exchanges. And Hangzhou Jinjiang is listed in Singapore stock exchanges. The Chinese companies are now not only focusing on the domestic market, they also look for overseas market. For example, the Everbright International acquired Nowego, a Poland company, with a value of 120 million euros in 2016. The Nowego company is the largest solid waste treatment plant in Poland, capable of treating 890,000 tons in 2015. In the same year, Beijing Enterprise spent 1.43 billion euros in a deal to acquire 100% equity of German EW Energy, which has 18 waste-to-energy plants in Europe and a treatment capacity of 4.4 million tons per annum. The Beijing Enterprise is a state-owned enterprise owned by the Beijing municipal government. It was founded in 2005 and now has become China's top 500 companies with annual income of 9 billion euros. It has multiple types of business, but as a main business, the public utility sector of Beijing Enterprise includes city gas supply, water supply, solid waste treatment, and city transportation. About the opportunities in China. The urban waste market is fastly growing in China. A total of 32.71 billion euros are expected to be invested in urban waste treatment between 2016 until 2020. Of such investment, it is expected that 22.07 billion euros is going to be spent on the facility construction, 3.35 billion euros on the collection and transportation system, 2.38 billion euros on kitchen waste, 3.14 billion euros on upgrading existing projects, and 0.55 billion euros on monitoring system. Market of waste energy exists some opportunities for EU SMEs. For example, although China is very good at manufacturing equipment, professional advisory services such as urban planning, public awareness, technical specifications, and EPC, O&M best international practices can be the chances for EU MSEs. Secondly, front and back-end technologies such as waste segregation, sorting equipment, sensors, filters, chemical reactors. Thirdly, although incineration technology is the mainstream application in China, it can be seen that the country is also trying to see the possibilities to develop more gasification, pyrolysis, and anaerobic digestion technologies. As the country is endeavoring to segregate the urban waste before it is transported, the issue of waste feedstock may be solved in the future. However, there are also some challenges if you want to enter the country. First of all, the market is largely driven and dominated by the government and the SOE contractors. So constant contact and relationship with key stakeholders, such as EPC and investors, is very important in order to learn and tender for the projects. Moreover, public awareness remains an issue in China due to communities' concerns about pollutants emissions and the effects on human health. The Chinese authorities and key companies are deploying substantial effort and resources into raising public acceptance of such projects through methods of transparency, negotiation, lifting industrial standard, and strengthening government supervision on waste emission. In addition, more companies are coming into the market, and the competition has become more intensive. For example, as a bidding condition in BOT projects, the waste treatment fee has been lowered from 48 RMB per ton in Xintai project of Shandong province in June 2015 to 18 RMB per ton in Shaoxing project of Zhejiang province in December 2015. So, we give some recommendations. First of all, before entering China, the SMEs need to do research in order to understand relevant regulations and laws at the different levels in the country. Although we just introduced the waste energy industry regulatory framework in the previous slides, if an international company wants to do business within China, it shall know laws and regulations such as customs, customer protection, product quality, investment, foreign exchange, and making contracts. In addition, industrial standard in China is also different from European countries. The country basically adopts a standard system called GB standard when selling products in China. Those products must be adapted into the Chinese standard system. Secondly, be clear of your strengths, weakness, the market opportunities, and the challenges in order to find the right market positioning and make a clear market entry strategy. China is an extremely competitive market. Low-end products at cheap prices is usually not the best selling point in the country. SMEs need to be clear about their products' competitive edge compared with competitors in terms of product quality, design, efficiency, safety, reliability, etc. Thirdly, finding a qualified local partner is an important part of the strategy. Regulatory barriers, cultural differences, and China's large size and complexity often make it essential to have a local Chinese partner. The right local partner can help you to navigate the complexities of the market and accelerate business development. Fourthly, protect your intellectual property by applying to the Chinese government. Enforcement is only available where your own applicable IP rights in China. Most of forms of IP require registration in China, and you are not able to directly enforce EU IP rights in the country. Administrative enforcement by various levels of government agents is one of the most common forms of IP enforcement in China, as it can often provide a quick, low-cost remedy that does not require representation by law firm or any court action. Finally, be patient in doing business in China and learn the country's business culture. In many cases, time is required to build up relationships with partners and customers. It is rare to win business on your first trip to China, and it is often necessary to invest time in building partnerships that lead to success over the long term. Finally, we list 5 waste-to-energy related trade shows in China for your reference. First, the International Environment Expo China, which was held on May 4th to 6th, 2017 in Shanghai by Chinese Society for Environmental Science, Mass Nutrition, and China Environment Chamber of Commerce. It is one of the largest and most important environmental trade shows in Asia. covering the exhibitions of water and sewage treatment, waste management, contaminated site remediation treatment, and air pollution control and air purification. Secondly, China International Waste Incineration and Power Generation Industry Exhibition held on April 6th to 8th in Beijing. The above two exhibitions were already completed. However, you can check in for the next year if you want. For the upcoming expos, there are China Guangzhou International Solid Waste Treatment and the Resource Recycling Expo, which will be held on August 16th to 18th, 2017 in Guangzhou. China International Exhibition of Agricultural Waste Recycling held on August 16 to 18, 2017 in Shanghai. China International Agricultural and Forestry Waste Energy Utilization Technology and Development Summit, which will be held on October 20 to 21, 2017 in Hefei. Okay, that's all we present today. Hope you like it. If you have any inquiry, please contact me. My email is david.wang@cbbc.org.cn. Thank you.